Morning. How you doing?
Doing pretty well. As far as first impressions of day one, what maybe stood out?
I think it started last January. I think we've had a great approach to kind of what we're trying to get accomplished here. KB, our strength coach, did an unbelievable job with these guys in the, from January to March, the winter quarter for us basically, and then seamlessly transitioned into Tuesday. So his first day on the field, kids were real attention to detail. This group's really serious about football, really serious about being successful. So it's been a lot of fun. There's some new faces in there, but they all enrolled early. Most of them came here in January. There was a few kids that enrolled for April, and they're still getting kind of their way about them. Today's day 4 for them in school. So, but the kids who came in January really acclimated really well, and we're excited every day we get a chance to get on the field and get a chance to teach them. So.
You had a couple new hires, Ken being one of them, coming over from Navy.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that to kind of bring him aboard, and what is his role exactly?
Yeah, it was awesome that we got a chance to get Ken. I know he had a lot of opportunities to go a lot of places. Mm-hmm. He's such a well-respected coach in our community. I think everybody kind of looks up to Ken in terms of what the success he had and just the type of person that he is. And so when he did become available, we had some discussions in terms of just trying to get him on staff. So we developed a position for him. I think leadership. You're talking about somebody who's probably the foremost person who can teach leadership, coming from the Naval Academy. Mm-hmm. So going to implement some new things, especially. I think leadership goes across a lot of different things, and what a freshman has to do to lead is a lot different than what a senior has to do to lead. And really to break it down and to have a person that can kind of foster that mentality with all of our players, and then meet with them one-on-one, and kind of, the more people we can have on deck that can promote what this place is all about, which is books and ball. And you talk about a guy coming from Navy, that's a place that's about books and ball. So we're just really fortunate to have somebody of Ken's character and just the type of person he is. The more good people you can be around, the better off you're going to be. So we were excited to add him to our staff.
Is Ken able to be on the field coaching?
No, he's not one of the 10 full-time coaches. So, he's on an off-field role. You'll see him at practice, but he's not coaching any particular group of guys. But it's the player development off-the-field stuff that I think is critical to everything that we do. We take a holistic approach in terms of everything we do. It's not just football. It's not just school. It's everything. It's how do you grow socially? How do you grow emotionally? How do you grow spiritually? And Ken's a big part of that. So isn't, Kevin Jordan, who's our director of player development, is former All-American wide receiver here. He's had a critical role from that standpoint. I think being able to have guys like Ken and Kevin off the field with our guys is awesome.
What attracted you to hiring Coach Lynn? And what have you seen from him bring to the defense so far?
Yeah, I had known a lot about him. A lot of my friends that coach in the NFL had spoken very, very highly of him. Specifically, Billy O'Brien, who was with him when he was head coach of the Houston Texans, and then John Harbaugh at Baltimore. So when Coach McGovern wasn't able to finish out what we were doing here, and we had to go look for a new defense coordinator, D was one of the highest guys that we talked to. And, I think when you meet him, he's smart, he's intelligent. He's a very, very good teacher. He's got a unique way about himself. He's really confident, but he has a way of coming off where I think the way he teaches is really unique, and we're really excited about having him. I think he brings some really fresh ideas, and he's transitioned in really well. Brian Norwood knew him. It was interesting. I think Coach Norwood actually recruited him to Penn State way back in the day when Dan was playing. Ken Norton played with his dad, and knows him really well. So we had some guys on our staff that knew him fairly well also. So I think that transition for bringing him in has been really seamless, and I think he's done a really nice job. And we're excited about getting on the field for day 2 with him. But I think our defensive players say the same thing. When you watch him stand in front of the room and put in fronts, coverages, pressures, things like that. Just there's a way about him that you gain confidence. So we're really excited about where we're headed with him.
There are 2 players that weren't on the roster. Do you have a status for David Cravy and Damian Sellers?
Cravy graduated, and Sellers hasn't been here for a year.
What attracted you to bringing in a guy like Carson Steele to the program?
Just you look at him on tape. The first thing you notice. I think all of us kind of get an opportunity to watch the MAC play. They play all those matching games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. You know, he kind of stood out in some of those games. We're usually game planning and there's TVs on, and you know, you're kind of, wow, that guy's a really good player. Then you look at him statistically. I think he is the leading rushing returner guy in the country. He had the most broken tackles in the country. Real tough, hard-nosed, physical player. So when we lost Zach, you know, to graduation and going on to the NFL, you know, it was a priority for us to get another back in here. I think the day and age that we're in right now, you got to look at the portal. You know, we obviously took a really good high school player in Isaiah Carlson, who's here too, but we really looked at the portal to try to get another guy. And yeah, I don't think you can replace Zach, but to have somebody at Carson's caliber to come in here it's been good so far. You know, he's a beast in the weight room. You know, he's got an unbelievable work ethic. You know, so you watch how he trains and how he approaches things, and he fits in perfectly with what we're looking for in a football player.
And then speaking of new additions, you know, Dante, Colin, what were your first impressions of them?
They did a nice job for day one. You know, it's all new to them, you know, really, and you're limited by what the rules are. So there was really no football done until Monday with these guys, and then Tuesday we get on the field with them. So they're both sharp. They both pick things up really well. You know, it's a really good quarterback room right now, you know, because Garbers has played for us and Ethan's done some really nice things. You had Chase Griffin in there, and then Justin Martin, who's had a really, really good offseason himself. So I'm excited about all those guys. I thought they all had a good day on day one. But it's about, you know, you're trying to get a lot of guys reps, and that's what the key is right now is how can we learn by doing, and you know, we only get 15 opportunities to do this, so you know, we got to be really structured in how we do it and really efficient in how we do it, but we're trying to get, you know, multiple guys at certain positions reps, and that's, you know, that's really a challenge that we're excited about as a coaching staff, because you know, we got a bunch of guys that are really, really hungry. I think we've got some overall depth, probably the biggest group we've had for spring. You know, we're really healthy right now, so it's, you know, we can play fast. We can get a lot of reps in training sessions, and everybody benefits from that. So, but for the first day, I thought those guys did a nice job.
What is the status of Ali Cajo? Is he a full go? Is he out here
He's
participating?
unavailable right now.
Okay.
So
What about Gary Smith, Carson Ryan, and Isaiah Carlson?
they're practice. Gary and Carson are practicing, and Isaiah's not available right now.
Is this the best wide receiver room you've had since you've been at UCLA?
I don't know. I'm not into comparisons. You know, I'm excited about the group. You know, I can tell you that, but I don't. You know, is this better than this group? And if it was or wasn't, it really doesn't matter. You know, it's what the real key is just we've got depth, and then we got to continue to develop them. You know, I think the fresh faces that we added in J. Mike and Kyle particularly, you know, are two guys that have played a lot of football. So you know, they're coming in as veterans. You know, they're coming from different systems, but they're coming in as veterans, and they both got here in January and did an unbelievable job in our off-season program, and really seamlessly blended in with our entire group. I think they foster the same mindset that all of our other players have, is that they're just trying to get better every day. You know, and can I be 1% better today than I was yesterday? And then that constant improvement, I think, is pretty cool. And those guys have been leading from the front from that. So we're excited about that whole group, and I'm excited about the numbers. We got a lot of guys out there, so you know, we can do some different things from a training standpoint with the amount of wideouts we have, with the amount of running backs we have, with the amount of quarterbacks we have, to get a lot of reps. And because, as I said earlier, you learn by doing, and we can do because we do have the bodies out there right now.
Oh, you guys promoted Deshaun Foster. What went into that process, and what made him the perfect guy for that job?
Yeah, I think the world at Deshaun. I think he's an outstanding football coach. I think he's a better person, and there's nothing that really kind of emulates what this school's all about. Here's a former player here was inducted in the Hall of Fame this past year. Got an opportunity to play football in the NFL, and then wanted to give back, and that's what he's constantly done. He's about service, and he's about serving others and helping others. And you know, you look at the work he's done with our running backs here. You know, just in my time here, you could argue that that's been the best position for the last 5 years, and consistently with a bunch of different guys. Josh Kelly, who was a walk-on, you know, Demetric Felton, who was a former wide receiver, you know, and then bringing in Zach and what Zach's production has been, and along with all the other guys that he's coached, you know, the Ethan Fernandez and guys like that. So just does a tremendous job and has earned everything he's gotten here.
In the spring, is it a little tougher to evaluate, like say, O-linemen and skill position guys when it comes to, you know, depth chart ideas and new guys coming in?
Not really, and I understand your question. Just on the first 2 days, because on the first 2 days we're in just helmets, so it's a different deal. Our O-line and our D-line really have to understand they got to cooperate when we get into 11-on-11 drills because we don't have full pads on. But you know, starting Saturday, we'll be able to put the pads on. So I think you'll be able to get, you know, a thorough evaluation. We get 12 opportunities in full pads where we can get a pretty good idea. You know, it's always going to be a work in progress, but you're going to get an idea once we get the full pads on, which will start on Saturday. So.
I want to know what you thought about the transfer portal dates. Originally, it was supposed to be May 1st to the 15th, and then it got moved up April 15th to the 30th, I believe.
No, I think it's still May 1st to the 15th.
I think I did hear something about it changing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think it changed in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's May 1st to the 15th. So.
As far as how those dates maybe affect how you guys evaluate.
Doesn't affect anything for us. So, you know, when they tell us the date's open, then you know we're prepared. I think our staff does a great job. Our recruiting staff does a great job. You know, we've done a really good job in the portal of finding guys that fit for UCLA. And you know, we have a process that we go through. So, you know, when it opens, we're prepared. Good guys.